Adil Suleiman with the African Union Commission. It gives me great pleasure and privilege to be here with you. The African IGF 2024, with the main theme of digital leveraging digital for peace, development, and stability. So we are very happy and pleased to be with you here. This is it's our annual gathering as Africans. It's like a family gathering. It's a family gathering, and we are really feel like this is a talk between brothers and sisters. And I think the objective of this open forum, the annual open forum, is to share what the African institutions are doing in terms of new initiatives, and to share some good news with you on the new initiative and project that are in Africa. And also there will be some representative from African institution in this gathering that we're also going to be sharing with us what they are doing, and we also want to have a dialogue. I think that also we want to listen from you, your challenges and what you are doing in terms of some progress on your side, either on individual basis or on an institutional basis. So basically, I think we stand here with mixed emotions. We have good news. I start with the good news. One of our colleagues who was predominant in this discussion, Dr. Nyambura, I'm glad to announce that now she's the minister in Kenya. So I think we are very proud and happy to have one of their family members to take this high position in their country. I think you have to look yourself as future also leaders in Africa, because it's not far from you, so you can achieve everything that you want. The sad news that, of course, we lost Makan Faye. Makan has been instrumental with the African IGF as well as with the global IGF. If you can stand up, we just observe a minute of silence. Thank you very much. So let me just walk through the program for today. We will have feedback on the African IGF, so it's going to be presented by our colleague Sorin. And we have two other tracks during the African IGF. We have the youth track and the parliamentarian track. So also we are going to get some reporting on those. After that, we will hear from the MAC chair, and then a couple of African institutions, the African Union Commission and the UN Economic Commission for Africa. They're going also to share with us their new initiative in 25 and moving forward. Without further ado, let me give the floor to Sorin to give a high-level report on the African IGF. Sorin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Adil, and good afternoon, everyone. I just want to give a brief background, and we have all the focal points for different aspects of the African IGF, and they will provide a detailed background information. So for the African IGF that had just concluded from the 20th to the 22nd of November in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, we had over 430 delegates. All those delegates got the badges, and we had over 43 member states was represented, and more or less we had stakeholders, a diverse one, UN representative, academia, CESOs, parliamentarians, youth, and partner agencies, including research institutes, member states representing, and also private sector were present. Just to give you the demographic and gender balance, we had from the delegate that are present, we had 154 female and 276 male delegates were present during the forum. We started the African IGF first from the African School of Internet Governance, which was led by the APC. The focal point was UNRWA in peace. They had 1 week long. The delegate that they covered in the AFRISIC close to 55 participants, including the resource personnel, and also including parliamentarians for intergenerational dialogue. So we had, unlike any other days during the African IGF, this year we started quite late. So with the support of the MAG and the MAG chair, who will provide a detailed information on our process. We started quite late, but with the support of the host country, which is the Ethiopian government, we tried to buy in some of the time. As I said, we started with AFRISIC, and that was from the 14th to the 19th of November. The topic that was covered, or the practicum, was around data governance and cross-data flow, which is on the implementation of the African Union data policy framework. And also we had a parliamentarian session, which was facilitated by Celine, she is the focal point from IGF Secretariat. They had 1 full day parliamentarian track, which had like 3-4 subtopic, and also they had parliamentarian session, included intergenerational dialogue with the youth. And on day 0 also we had a youth track or youth forum, which was a full day. The young lady Aminata and Mariam Jope and Lillian were the focal point. They will be talking about what thematic area was, what was the message, and the call for action. We had also partners session. JFC is, I think, present. Martin Koyabe is there. They organize more or less 3 sessions. They hold their regional forum, JFC forum. On day 0, they had also a session on coordination committee across the partners, and also implementation of the Togo cybersecurity session. Martin will be a good person to provide more detail. So on the main session of the African IGF, as I said, it was 3 days, including day 0. We had across 9 sub-thematic area, that is artificial intelligence and emerging technology, cybersecurity and cybercrime, local content and multilingualism was there, technical and infrastructure, and many other sessions, including also technical infrastructure, which was led by ICANN and ISOC sessions. I think we had also plenary sessions where we tried to gather all the parallel workshop, which were complete, like 44 workshops that we hold. Plenary sessions, 1 high-level session on the multi-stakeholder building our multi-stakeholder digital future for Africa. That is the main thematic area for the African IGF this year. And we had a main session. 1 is on misinformation, disinformation, and internet shutdown. The second one is around cybercrime and cybersecurity. The third one was advancing cybersecurity and digital economy. The last one was around e-government. These were the plenary section. And during the high-level session, we tried to revisit the Global Digital Compacts and the WISES annual review in the upcoming WISES Plus 20 review process that we'll be holding. At the end, we concluded our session on open mic, which we heard from the community what went right, what went wrong, and how we can improve the African IGF process and to make it an inclusive and more representative of the stakeholders. And we had also closing ceremony, which we announced the next year host for the African IGF. This time will be Tanzania has accepted. And considering that the global IGF will be in June, the host government are thinking to hold it just before the global IGF, but once the date is agreed with them, will be communicated. And the last session that I don't want to forget is hosted by the Global Digital Inclusion Partnership. They had a breakfast session to make sure that how the women initiative or initiative aim to bridge the digital gap to get their funding from existing funding agencies. So I think I will give back the mic to the moderator to give.
Thank you very much, Doreen. I think let's give her a round of applause. One key message is that the African IGF is going to be in Tanzania. Most likely it's going to be early in the year because the global IGF is going to be in June. So just to be ready for that so that we will attend. And hopefully maybe we have some countries representative here will volunteer for the 2026. So I want to believe with the presenter to be brief because I think one of the essence of this session is to have dialogue. So we want to, if you could also seek your indulgence that you park the question to the after we finish all the presentations. So I'll give the floor now to the youth representative to just give us a briefing on what inspired in Addis Ababa when they met at the youth track. Amina, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amina Ramalan. So the 2024 Africa Youth Internet Governance Forum held November 20th on day 0 of the Africa IGF. The theme of the 2024 Africa Youth IGF was digital governance and emerging tech, amplifying youth voices in multi-stakeholder dialogue. So during the Africa Youth IGF, we had over 100 participants on site, and we had about 100 participants online from all over the world. We had 4 panel sessions, and we had 2 workshops. The panel session covered the main theme of the Africa Youth IGF. We also spoke to the Global Digital Compact, understanding it, the opportunities and perspectives of youth. We had a multi-stakeholder dialogue with policymakers. We had opportunities for engagement by our sponsors, by the stakeholders that were on our panel, such as ICANN, UNECA, the Tony Blair Institute, GIZ. We also had closing session by representatives from the UN IGF Secretariat. Some resolutions from the 2024 Africa Youth IGF include stakeholders committing to taking constructive criticism from the forum. Agreements were also made to increase youth participation and representation in the ecosystem. Government, through policymakers, agreed to prioritize integrating digital literacy into academic curriculum. There was also a strong agreement by all participants for the need to develop Africa-specific solutions to Africa-specific problems, such as in dealing with digital governance, agriculture, health, education. That includes integrating our local languages into AI and digital tools. Some of the key outcomes from the Africa Youth IGF include improving digital literacy among youth, advocating for representation of youth in the ecosystem, launching initiatives that will strengthen cross-border collaborations on digital rights. Stakeholders such as ICANN, UNECA also spoke to expanding their capacity building initiatives, prioritizing infrastructure development. There was also discussions on promoting lifelong learning and mentorship opportunities to foster youth leadership in Africa's digital economy. And there was also the consensus to strike a balance between digital innovation and human rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amina. I think you did a wonderful job to summarize what inspired in Addis. on the youth track. I hope that also the following presenters will also try to keep it short and precise. Let me take this opportunity to welcome Honorable Susan from Malawi to give us a briefing on what inspired during the parliamentarian symposium. Honorable, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Briefly, at the Africa IGF in November, we had a parliamentary track where we were giving out our the issues that we have done so far in our countries, various countries. We had members of parliament from different countries, as well as members who represent Africa Parliamentary Network on Internet Governance. So we discussed issues whereby we spoke about issues of legislation. How can members of parliament work together with other stakeholders to make sure that we work together? We shouldn't leave anyone behind. We have to be working together as Africa. We have to, whatever issues we have, we need to put them together, and so that we can face the challenges that we are facing as one continent. So it was a very good session, and through that session we were able to come up with strategies, plans that can enable us, Parliament, to work on our duties. As you are aware, as members of Parliament, we have a key role to play in our different countries. Coming up with legislation is not that easy, so we want every stakeholder to work with us, to be with us, and legislators should not be left behind, but we have to work together so that we make sure that Africa is connected. Africa is one. Africa, we are doing the right things together. So as parliamentarians, we assured everyone at that session that we are ready to work, and we are ready to come up with legislation, maybe on the issues of AI as well, on the AI frameworks, and anything that will come up, even if there will be issues of maybe some amendments to the laws that we already have in our countries, we are ready to do that. In brief, I think that's what I can talk about.
Thank you, Honorable Susan. I think we are stronger because in the African IGF family, we have the parliamentarians, and we look forward to have other stakeholders like diplomats also, so that the family can grow and become more stronger. I think the parliamentarians, since they joined in 2022, I think they had impact on the ground, and we're really happy to have them along in this journey with us. Thank you very much. Let me now give the floor to the MAC chair, Lillian, just to give us a briefing on the MAC activities and what they have done during the last year. Thank you. And also part of this year.
From the MAC, I'd like to thank my fellow MAC members and past members. Perhaps I would like to recognize the current community. Yes, Asen Tijan, you served last year. Aisha Ahmed is around. He's currently joined this year. So these plus a number of our colleagues who are not in the room today were very helpful in the shaping of the program last year and this year. So part of our task force when we joined the MAG in towards end of 2002 was to revise the current charter, and I would like to inform the community that we have a new charter that guides the organizing and the convening of the Africa IGF. This charter started with a journey that was led by Dr. Makta Sek in Choto last year. It constituted a task force of 12 members, and some of them are in the room. Tijan, I don't see the rest, Mama Mary, Aneriet. It was led by Honorable Gabenja from the Gambia. Hajj Honorable, yes, from the Gambia. And they did quite a wonderful job in advising and guiding and revising so that the charter could fit within the current settings of the Africa IGF. The charter came live this year during the IGF in Ethiopia last month, so it is still very fresh. And currently, we'll be opening up call to have new MAG members, and this should come out towards the end of next month. I'm looking at Sorina and Dr. Makta to be sure that this is going to happen, because we realize that the IGF we have a very short time frame, and again, the current MAG, I think, is used to working under tight deadlines, because we had a very short time frame this year to organize the Africa IGF, and it was a good success. So we believe that if we start as early as next year in constituting a new MAG, then the community should be able to be given time to organize around workshop, submitting workshops, give the MAG ample time to select the workshops, and also have an agenda announced before probably we hear from Tanzania on the month or date they will host. We should be able to have our program ready. So I think those are the updates we have from the MAG. So members, just look out for that call inviting you to announcing the call for nominations for the MAG members, and then we'll take it on from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lillian. So you heard the news, there is a charter, and there is also MAG election. So if you guys are interested, please, especially the youth, please just be on the alert. Something is going to come up, and then maybe you can put your name for some of these positions, even though they are voluntary. But this is just to serve Africa, and we are really looking for the youth and their spirit and their hard work, so that they can make a difference. Thank you very much to the panel. Thank you. Please give them a round of applause. Let me ask Mr. Walid Hamdi and Dr. Maktar Sek to come to the high table, so that they can also give a presentation on some of the initiatives that from the African Union Commission and also the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. I think this is maybe will be very interesting. So because you're going to hear some good news about some development of new policies and also some new projects that are going to be launched in Africa. So let me give the floor to Mr. Walid Hamdi. Mr. Walid Hamdi is the new head of division for the Information Society Division within the African Union Commission. Mr. Walid, please go ahead. Maybe you can, I think there was a mic here.
Hello. Very good evening, brothers and sisters. Very good evening, everyone. All protocol observed. I'm really proud to see these African representations in the room, and it's something that show how we are very keen for our voices, for African voices, to reach to these global platforms and to be very effective in shaping global policies. Talking about 2024, both very intense as globally the strategic directions was about how to move from strategies to actions. So at the African Union Commission, particularly the Information Society Division, we were thinking about how to move from strategies to actions, and then we kind of like wanted also to promote African efforts, and like I mentioned, we were very keen that the African voices to be heard in these global platforms. So we started with the Global Digital Compact. We had a very long session of thinking about how to submit an African common position to the Global Digital Compact so that our voice is united, and also our goals, objectives, so that we can easily accomplish these tasks all as Africans all together. So in the preparation of the Summit of the Future, under the African Union Commission stewardship, we produce a common position towards an open, free and secure digital future for all. These positions have been articulated in an African Digital Compact, which was submitted during the Summit of the Future, as I mentioned, as a common position for Africa in the Global Digital Compact. That was during the second half of the year, and I'm very proud also to say that we managed to develop the continental AI strategy at the same time. We have been working very hard, utilizing our resources to provide the African Digital Compact as well as the AI continental strategy, because as we all know, AI is a very hot topic and we don't want to be late. And also the emerging technologies, and specifically AI, is now in every conversation around achieving sustainable development goals, achieving, addressing the African challenges. And we have a lot of unique challenges in Africa, as you may know. The continental AI strategy was endorsed by the AU Council back in July, in July 2024, with the support from UNESCO, and also the African Digital Compact was supported by our colleagues in GIZ. We provided these two frameworks, and those two frameworks developed a multi-stakeholder developed by a multi-stakeholder groups representing African actors in the digital sphere. They develop oriented with specific commitment that measurables, time-bound, and with ownership of objectives clearly assigned. I'm pleased to announce that both frameworks, of course, now are adopted by the EU at the EU Summit, by the EU Executive Council, and now they are available. And both of them are accompanied by implementation plans, so that member states can follow these implementation plans for the ease of start implementing those frameworks. I'm very pleased to share today with you all that the second phase of PRIDA phase 2 will formally launch early 2025. We are speaking about second half of January. And internet governance will be a focus area under the new initiative. And I would also like to announce that AU Commission will launch, with the support of LuxDev, a continental CERT initiative following the completion of the project formalization phase, which is currently underway. The AU developed a common position on the application of international law, cyberspace this year. This common position was adopted by AU organs early this year, and the Commission is currently assisting member states to develop their own national position. And as I mentioned, we are moving from strategies and policies to actions, so that this one is to kind of like applying the international law into the cyberspace and also to assist member states to do so. Next, I'm also pleased that to report that a continental cybersecurity strategy is under development. Once the draft is finalized, the AU Commission will carry out validation workshops with different stakeholders, African stakeholders, involving various groups in the continent. And ideally, the final draft should be presented to the AU organs for consideration and possible adoption within the second half of 2025. So we started with 2024, very excited, but we are continue to have also 2025 to have these big milestones where we will have the African cybersecurity strategy. This AU cybersecurity flagship project. So the AUC will be launching cybersecurity initiatives in close collaboration with the World Bank and the German Foreign Affairs Ministry. So this collaboration, the key areas will be domestication of the Malabo Convention Center, Convention for cybersecurity. Also, the cyber strategy, and we can, of course, we can't talk about this without mentioning the child online safety and digital ID. With this, I'll stop here, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Walid, for the presentation. Now give the mic to my good friend, Dr. Maktar Sek, to give us some insights on the activities that were carried or planned to be carried by ECA in 24 and 25. Dr. Sek, please. I think so. You can use your...
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this meeting. We are going to, let's go fast because we have other meeting running soon. For UNECA, we have a lot of accomplishment during this 24 years, but 25 will be more busy. Just we can highlight in 2024, the adoption of the Global Digital Compact by the UN General Assembly in New York in September. And also the launch of the AI working group and also the data governance working group at the UN level. We work closely with AUC and we support a lot of member states in several areas. And now we are going to align our work in 2025 on the 5 objectives of the Global Digital Compact. Let me give you a summary of what we plan to do in 2025. Regarding the first objective of the Global Digital Compact, closing the digital divide and achieving the sustainable, continue our support to member states to develop their national strategy on digital technology. This year will focus on 10 countries. 10 countries will benefit for this support. We'll continue also to work on digital public infrastructure DPI to support some member states and also to develop some African guideline on digital on DPI, focus more on climate change, the impact of the climate in our continent. Also, we'll continue to support African members to expand their broadband infrastructure by bringing some investment company to support them. We are in 2025. Also, in terms of connectivity, we are going to continue our work to promote connectivity across the school under the joint program we have with UNICEF, ITU, and ECA. to connect a lot of schools across the continent this year. And also capacity building, we are going to build the capacity of young students. We target 100,000 this year for across 14 countries. Now, on the second objective regarding this digital inclusion and to make this digital technology benefits for all, we have several activities like the digital ID program. We'll continue our digital ID program in member state. Now we focus in 2025 on 7 countries. We'll add 4 more countries on 25. Now we have a great result in Ethiopia. We are in the database. We have now, as end of last week, 1 million register get their digital ID, and next year we plan to go to 24 million, and we'll add also. We already finalized a strategy for Malawi, and we are going to start this implementation in Gambia, in Malawi, and other African countries. Also, we are going to launch this STEAM center in Rwanda in June. Also, inclusion need this whole meeting we are going to organize. WISIS Plus 20 will be discussed in May in Benin to discuss how we can align WISIS Plus 20 and the Global Digital Compact for African country before the global WISIS in July in Geneva, and also before the General Assembly in September, where we are going to organize the continuation of IGF and the WISIS Plus 20 in line with the Global Digital Compact. The third objective regarding to security, cyber security, make our cyberspace secure. We are going to continue our work on cyber security. We'll focus more on capacity building this year, because last year we have a lot of policy, and AUC will develop the African continental. AUC will revise the Malabo Convention. We are going to see how to assist the member state to implement this new revision of the Malabo Convention. And we'll continue also the capacity building program targeting member state, parliamentarian, and private sector, as well as the law judiciary. On cybersecurity also, hopefully we are going to launch this year the African Center of Cybersecurity in Togo. We are working closely with GFCA and World Bank on that, and we think by before end of this year we are going to launch this cybersecurity center. On the objective 4 regarding data governance and data sharing, we've in the implementation of the African Union data governance framework, we are going to support 6 member states to build their capacity on data governance and also to develop their national strategy. The country are already identified, and the work will start as of 2nd January in next year. Also on data governance, we are going to develop this data governance guideline for Africa. We'll put in place, we are going to set up in place a working group on data governance for the continent, because at the world level, we already put a data governance working group, and this data governance working group, we have only 4 member states per continent. Africa will be represented by 4 member states, and at UNECA, we are going to put a large data governance group, and this data governance group, the outcome will be discussed in the global data governance to make sure all priorities of Africa are being taken into consideration in this data governance. The last one, it is AI, very important, AI governance. And we'll continue our work to artificial intelligence policy, supporting member state, and to develop their national policy. Already we support the AUC to develop the African AI strategy on AI. We are implementing at the member state. We'll organize next year's African Summit on AI in Mozambique before June 2025. That agreed now with the government. We are going also to put a lot of capacity building on AI. Because the issue is we need to build the capacity of the policymaker and the youth generation on AI. And we are going to use this artificial intelligence center we have created in Congo to build more capacity for member state and for African youth in AI. Also, we are going to organize this STI forum in April in Uganda, and we are going to show lot of innovation on AI at the continental level. We already developed the website showing more than 300 innovation on AI in several areas, going to agriculture, health, business sector, industry, and we are going to launch this platform during the STI African STI forum that we organize in April with the government of Uganda. On AI also, there is a issue of ethic of AI. The regulation will work with UNESCO to have a one ethic guideline for the continent, as well as how to regulate this emerging technology. We have an approach sandbox for Africa. I will provide the result as soon as possible. As you see, we have. I'm going to stop there because we have a lot of activity on in 2025, going to policy development, capacity building, project, knowledge sharing, as well as a platform of dialogue like this WC's African IGF, and also the think tank for African to discuss how they fit their priority in the global agenda, because we have a big issue in Africa. If you look at the statistic last year, 2023, the connectivity, it was 37%. And the last statistic we get 2 weeks ago by ITU, it is 38%. We have only 1% increase on this connectivity in 1 year. It is a big issue because we need to make progress. Also, when we look at this digital gender gap, the digital gender gap in 2023 was a 10 point between men and women. Now it is 13.13 point. And there is an increase, and we need to find a solution to make everybody access digital space. And also we have to curb the digital ID negative impact, because we still have 500 million not connected without any form of legal ID. We have some challenge like that. And also, as you know, by 2050, 40% the African youth population will represent 40% of the world youth population. We need to build their capacity, and by 2030, we need to create 625 million jobs in Africa focused on digital skills. And we have to find to bridge the gap and to create more people connected and more people skilled in the digital era, to make sure we leave no one offline. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sek, for the presentation. As you can see from the two presentations, there's a lot to be done. And if you are representing an institution or maybe individual, we will seek your help with all this, because we cannot do it alone. We need the support of everybody in their own capacity, so that we can accomplish all these aspirations. With that, we finish our presentation and we come to the real work of receiving comments from the floor. And please keep it to one question or one intervention, comments because there are so many people in the room, and we want to give opportunity to everybody who wants to speak, who wish to speak, so that we can learn from you, and also maybe you can ask questions not to only these two gentlemen, but also to the people who were here before on the African IGF, the MAG, and all that. So without further ado, let me open the floor. I see one hand here. Let's take maybe 4 at a time. 1, 2, 3. Where is number 4? And okay, 4. Start with the lady. By the way, I am very proud that we have a very good gender balance in the room and also on the panel. I think this is good, and I think this is a testimony of the African spirit. I think this is great. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jingbo Huang. I'm the director of United Nations University Research Institute in Macau. So I'm very enthusiastic about the plans for African continent because we have a lot to offer. And UNU, as you know, is a UN organization, also think tank. We do teaching, training, capacity building specifically, and education. So our institute, the institute that I'm heading in Macau, is specialized in digital tech and SDG, research and capacity building. We have a 13 institute in 12 countries. And I hear from both of the distinguished speakers and also the previous panel, the needs of strategy development, for example, related to digital tech, capacity building for youth, for policymakers. That's exactly what we can do in UNU Macau. So I will be happy to connect offline to let you know. For example, we have a training catalog and related to demystifying AI. We have also done the UNESCO AI ethics readiness assessment in some other countries. So we have a lot to offer. And in our institute, we are it consists of former university professors from different parts of the world and with a different background related to digital tech. So just to provide you that we have this implementation power and also to support your visions in doing so. So the second point is that we hold a UNU AI conference. And this year we had the first one, and we actually invited some African ministers of ICTs to our conference. And in collaboration with the UN DESA, we put together a data governance, digital transformation workshop. So many of the ministers have already participated in it. So this year, 2025, we would like to invite our guests here to join our AI conference. October 24th, UN Day 2025 is going to mark the UNU's 50th anniversary and also the UN's 80th. So it will be a big year. I hope that you will come to join us. Third is we have a UN for youth. During this conference, we'll also have a AI social innovation hackathon awards competition for young people to present AI social innovation solutions for local problems. So I also invite the youth from Africa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is a mic?
Thank you very much. My name is Wisdom Donko, the Executive Director for Africa Open Data and Internet Research Foundation. My concern goes to Walid. You talk about the strategies to help Africa, but my worry is that we're still not talking about how we are going to get the rural communities out of the state in which they are now. So I want to understand from you, what concrete strategies do you have in order for us to be able to bridge that digital divide gap within the rural communities? Because within our part of the continent, that is where most of our food basket comes from. That is where most of the, I should say, employment comes from within the agricultural sector and trade. So I would like to know. And then also to Dr. Makta, now we are talking about data governance and then the working group and all of that. The AI is also coming up. Other programs are also coming up. We still have the rural communities to connect. And then, I don't know, it looks like we are overloading ourselves. I just want to understand how we can move towards these rural communities and then help them. Because everybody in the room here seems to come from the urban cities and all of that. The rural communities are still in the dark. When you talk about electricity, they are still in the dark. When you talk about connectivity, it's still in the dark. And then other components. And then if you take the educational sector as well, you mentioned UNESCO. Now, I didn't hear about local content. I was expecting to hear about local content and then what we can do to bridge that gap, because if you look at our educational institutions, the urban cities, the programs that we learn, the rural communities, is the same thing that they also learn. But then the urban cities has that privilege of having everything digitally. The rural communities don't have. But yet this is the case that the rural communities sit in the same exam room as what the urban cities. We write the same exam. So what do we have concretely to do for us to bridge that gap? Because that is where I think those problems are coming from. If we're able to bridge those gaps, then we'll be there.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Levis Yansege from Zambia. I lead the Internet Society Zambia chapter and also the Youth IGF. I think from it, two comments in one. My concern question goes to Dr. Maktar. You mentioned, I think, a number of projects are supporting a limited number of countries in Africa. I would like to find out which country, which project Zambia would fall in. I would like to write on that since I'm from Zambia. And then earlier, I think part of the opening, there was a concern about the Africa IGF 2026. If there is room to place a voluntary role for 2027, I would like to pledge my country. We can work, I think, on a number of things to ensure that 2027 can be hosted in Zambia. And with that said, I think those are my questions and contributions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay. It is okay? It's okay? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is Abdi Jalil Bashar from Chad. I'm the partnership advisor of National Cyber Security Agency in Chad, and also member of Economic Council of African Union. So I need to thank Walid and Maktar for the intervention, because there's a lot of things to do it in next year or in the few days. So about artificial intelligence strategy in Africa and how to do the revision of Malabo Convention. So my question is about capacity building. So I think that capacity building is very key. So we need to train the young people, women, the official, the parliamentary. So how we can contact you, because sometimes you send the official invitation through the foreign affair, but foreign affairs sometimes are not sent to the key minister of ICT or National Cyber Security Agency. So is that any opportunity to send the request directly to you, and we can work together on that? Thank you so much.
No, I think next. So let's give the presenter to answer the 4 questions, and then maybe we can move to the second round. Is it working? The mic?
Test. Am I audible? Can hear me, guys? You can hear me. Okay, I don't know. Sorry for that. Yes, so I would like to start by thanking Director UNU Macau. Definitely at the African Union, we value this collaboration, we value this cooperation, and we value these partnerships, because we cannot do it all by ourselves, and Africa is a part of the world, and we need to position ourselves in this as a partners to other organizations, as well as also to kind of like exchange our African experience, our African knowledge, in terms also to know what others are doing. And we have already some collaboration with UNU, and we are happy, of course, to receive your invitation and also to participate in UNU Macau event. So thank you so much for your comments. We appreciate it, and we can also always discuss future collaboration. So my brother, that's a great question regarding the strategies to bridge the digital divide, especially focusing on rural areas and communities. So, yes, you might not hear it today, but we all know that it's a real challenge. I talked about that we have real unique challenge in Africa, but the reason that we mentioned AI and other frameworks, it's not to neglect this gap, rather than also to look for new innovative ways to kind of like bridge the gap of the connectivity. So it's been in our agenda, in our priorities. The strategies we put in place for this is that we are working very closely with ATU, African Telecommunication Union. We are exploring new technologies that can help, because connectivity issue, we had so many conversations with ITU, for example. We look at the ITU fact sheets, and we're also monitoring this gap bridging. So we are working very closely with African Telecommunication Union. We are trying also to look at innovative and not so traditional way of bridging the gap by using, internet satellite, maybe using low orbit connectivity. So all these things are things that we're thinking about. We work together. We push for bridging the gap with the rural area, and we thank you for being the voice in the room for these communities that, like you mentioned, might not be able to come all the way here. We thank you for your interest. We thank you for being the voice for these communities, and we work tirelessly to kind of like see improvement in this challenge. You mentioned electricity. Earlier this month, we have our STC for energy, and we tabled Africa energy efficiency strategy, and we have been very clearly given directions also to use AI technology in these things, and to use AI in also kind of like when we use renewable energy to reserve the African resources and to best utilize these resources. So we are working on that. Our strategies work together is to take a multi-stakeholder and collaborative approach with our colleagues in ATU. The capacity building, Abdul Jalil mentioned. Well, as I said earlier, that we have implementation plans both for African Digital Compact and for AI strategy. And in those framework, in those strategies, there is a pillar for the capacity building. There is a pillar about advocating and promoting the AI application development. All this needs capacity building. All this needs training. And maybe also as a director of UNU Macau mentioned that we are working. This is a good example in the room that we are doing this either by our resources or by collaborating with other international organizations. How to approach us? Everyone knows in the AU, my door is always open. You can have my card. You can have my email. There is an email also, isd@africa-union.org. You can send us. We keep monitoring, and we don't ignore any email, any idea, any suggestion, any kind of like communication. You can approach me directly. If not, all my team are there, and also through the official channels, of course, through the AU official channels, we are approachable, and we are happy to work peer-to-peer and also to work together with anyone who is interested. For the gentleman, I will give Dr. Mukhtar, because the question was addressed to him.
Thank you. I think you have a very interesting question. First, with UNV, we work together. We have a MOU, and we develop some activity at the regional level on e-government. I think we took note on your idea, and we'll see how we can involve you on our activity on capacity building and AI. We work also on climate change with you, how to use digital for climate change to mitigate this climate impact in the continent. Digital gap, you have a right, because now Africa in the rural area, we have a 25% connectivity as a digital as the rural area. And our objective is to bridge this digital gap. When you look at the first objective of now United Nations on the Global Digital Compact is to bridge this digital divide. In UNECA, our strategy is to involve the private sector in the development of the infrastructure in the rural area. Now we start with some country. We are going to start with Ethiopia, how to bring private sector to develop the rural area through PPP with the government. And it will work very well because we did something in Guinea to develop the broadband infrastructure. And also we have this strategy, universal service strategy, we are going to launch next year. I think it is something we can help to bridge this digital divide and in the rural area. Also we have our program on digital ID, and we provide digital ID to all people across the country. Now Zambia, we work upon request. If there is an advisory service, we have to receive a letter from the government. Just if the government want to develop national strategy or to develop policy or need support to develop one project, digital ID program or cyber security or e-commerce or AI policy, now we have to receive the letter from the government. It is a process. I think all the government African know how to work with UNECA. And if we have activity on capacity building, now we send directly. We target people in the parliamentarian, in the policymaker, among youth, and we target people to be party on this on this policy, on this capacity building. Zambia, it will be digital ID. We'll support Zambia in digital ID. But our strategy we don't have a possibility to support all African countries. For one project, we build the capacity for one or two countries. And this country will serve as model for other country, and other country can go there to learn and to develop their policy. What we did, I give you an example. We built the capacity of Rwanda in digital technology. Yeah, I spent 7 years in Rwanda, just working on their digital, their Nikki project, their digital. Now, Rwanda is a model. A country can go there, learn about what they have done on digital policy, what they have done on digital finance, and can use the system. And a lot of countries now go to Rwanda for this kind of collaboration. How we can use AI in the agriculture sector. How we can transform this rural area by creating more activity. We have the example of Botswana, and people can go there. We develop the innovative technology at 700 kilometers from the capital. At this place, when we come, there is no network, there is nothing, but now we have everything. And the farmer is very happy because they generate a lot of new revenue using digital technology for their farm. And I think it's all question I have.
Yeah. Thank you very much for these very good questions, and I think if I may compliment also the panel, Abdul Jalil, I think it's the request has to be sent to the formal channel, and also you can contact the individuals who are here. I think that will make sure that you're there. And then to the point on the connectivities, the rural connectivity, I think maybe we need to change the mindset, not to talk about connectivity anymore, rather to talk about solutions. We provide solution to the communities, and then part of the solution will be the connectivity. But this is the different discussions that we can. So we open the floor for the next round of questions. Okay, you have 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, you are the first question. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Samantha?
Yeah. You can hear him, right? We can hear you. Technology is failing us.
Thank you. My name is Ahmed Farag. I'm chair of the North African IGF. And I would like to share with you some activities that we have organized in 2024 and followed up with a question for the panel. We have organized our annual meeting, the 8th annual meeting in October and in Mauritania. And we have almost more than 10 sessions, actually 11 sessions, and we have discussed some important topics regarding the data governance, the broadband, and cybersecurity, and more than this GDC as well, and the women inclusion. And we are in the North African IGF, we are committed to organize a specialized session for the Youth IGF initiative in the North African. Before the forum, we have organized the School on Internet Governance. We served the program for more than 34 students from the 7 countries of the North African IGF. As you see, and as I mentioned before, we are focusing on the youth. Okay, we are dedicated our efforts to help them and to offer them a capacity building program that allow them to be the next leaders of the region. Okay, my question is if there any channel, okay, that can support the sub-regional in our continent Africa during the sub-regions IGFs that might help us in the capacity building track that we are insist to promote and enhance the outcomes of these tracks. Thank you.
Thank you. You are not in the first, right?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank AUC and of course UNECA for the cooperation that we've had. My name again is Martin from the GFC Africa. What I have is, first of all, I'll just want to give you 4 areas that came out of our regional meeting which require some interventions from the floor and probably you may want to respond to. During the regional meeting that we had in the margins of the Africa IGF, we had a session where we covered 4 areas. The first area looked at the protocols, the strategies that have been developed within the continent, especially looking at Malabo Convention, the ICE strategy and so forth. The key question that came out within that was how do we allow and how do we expand the inclusion of specific interest groups in expanding the understanding of the implementation. For example, we have different sectors, we've got health, we've got transport and so forth, so those sectors need to be included. So the question is, how do we do that? And then there was also an intervention within the area of diversity, and I know we haven't covered quite a bit on that in terms of women and girls inclusivity. And the key issue is to strengthen the intervention when it comes to policy, especially to make sure that policies are gender sensitive within either regional or national level. And also when we do capacity in those sectors, how do we ensure that we get people absorbing the people who are being trained? So that's another question that came out of that. And then the other one that we looked at was cyber diplomacy, norms, and issues of confidence building measures, which is a new area. And I know we've had a session today looking at cyber diplomacy, but the key there was the issue around building capacity at regional level. So what is it that we can do in the ECOWAS region? We know ECOWAS is doing a good job, but more likely in SADC, East African region, to build capacity to understand those particular areas. And then finally, when it came to the issues of enhancing resilience, we are seeing that there is an agreement that regional dynamics in terms of resilience is important. We are seeing SATs being looked at, and I'm glad AUC has actually formally announced that they are going to look at the formulation of the Africa SAT at a continental level. And the key question is the understanding of the services and other areas that need to be absorbed. And then lastly, just a quick one here is the issue around the Togo Center, which Mark Tasek talked about. This has progressed significantly. There are two areas which are being looked at. One is the issue around the interest within the region and investment from the private sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so
thank you, Adil.
and then you next.
Just to know, I want to know if there are some MOU with the different universities in Africa for okay, I want to know if there are some MOU, UN and African Union and each the university in Africa to let the knowledge you are providing to be available for everyone in Africa. Is there something like that?
My name is James Mutandwa Majiga from Zimbabwe. Mine is on the revision of the Malabo Convention. I think this is long overdue, but really welcome now that we hear that African Union is going to look at that. If you look at the fate of Budapest, now you have a new UN treaty on cybersecurity. And I think what was observed there should have been long observed for us under Malabo. My hope is for African Union to devise a strategy to push for more ratifications of the Malabo Convention. There is one hurdle in terms of ratification with the Malabo, where a member state is supposed to have in place a data protection legislation. In Southern Africa, we have tried to go around this by having model laws to assist member states to come up with their data protection legislations. So perhaps the African Union can also consider something similar to help member states to come up with those data protection legislations as a condition to fulfill the ratification of Malabo, and then we can have more ratifications. It's very possible to have 100% ratification of Malabo. We have already seen it happening with the African Continental Free Trade Area Protocol, where you have a massive number of member states who have ratified the protocol. So it's an appeal to African Union to consider devising a strategy to increase the ratifications of Malabo. Otherwise, it's a document which won't be useful. Let it be useful from strategy to action.
Thank you. I just have one follow-up with, so Bram Fodzulan from Malawi. I just wanted to follow up with Walid on the announcement of PRIDA 2.0. as you're calling it. I'm not too sure whether it's too early to ask the scope of what is going to focus on. And also, I wanted to find out if we drew some lessons, obviously, from the 1.0 version, and what areas are we improving with the 2.0 PRIDA program. Thank you.
Thank you guys for the questions. I have to take Maktar Sek's place. He had to go for an emergency. But yes, we will be glad to answer the questions. We start with Walid, and if there is something I can complement.
Thank you so much. I think first question from Ahmed, the chair of North Africa IGF, regarding the channels to support the youth. Yes, we are always very keen about youth supportment. We also include them in every conversation that we have. We are aware that they are not the future leaders. We are aware that they are leaders now, so that we are always empowering them. So we can have this discussion, I think, further, and we can avail our AU network and collaboration arrangement to, well, I don't want to say to more empower, because now we are doing our best to empower the youth, but to continue empowering them to the full limits, so that they can assist us in our mission, and to reach Africa we want. So I'm very glad to continue these discussions, maybe offline, and put all our resources to support the regional youth initiatives. Dr. Martin, your question was about the 4 main areas, the strategies, how to include different players. So the African Union Commission, when we look at the strategies, we serve all our member states, all of them equally, and to be able to kind of like zoom in to integrate specific stakeholders regarding in different fields, health, education. All our strategies comes with a pillar around partnerships. How can we achieve the strategic goals of the strategy? And we are working also the same approach, the cybersecurity strategy. We are taking the same approach of trying to have a strategy that is inclusive, and that we can reach our strategic objectives with integrating everyone. However, it's challenging to be done completely at the continental level, so there is some work to be done as a country level. That's we always try to put it as a direction in the strategies, but it's also kind of like a shared responsibility between us and the member states. Gender inclusivity and gender sensitivity, all our initiatives, all our meeting, or our groups are gender sensitive, inclusive, and we always try to take initiatives that encourage African women to join us in the cybersecurity sphere and to participate more, and also kind of like to have opportunities where they can show their abilities, and also where can they learn from others. And we started by ourselves in the division, where we always advocate for women in cybersecurity. The cyber diplomacy, the regional, we tend to take peer-to-peer regional approach, meaning that we are advocating for regional experience sharing and peer-to-peer learning between all our regions. And Mokhtar is not here to answer the Togo part, so I'm going to, maybe you can take it offline with Dr. Sek. So yes, James, regarding the Malabo Convention, I'm going to divert this question to Mr. Adil because he is one of the pioneers and he worked closely with the team and he spearheaded the Malabo Convention work. So I think he's going to make justice answering your question more than me. So I'm also just to share the floor, not to feel that I'm under the spot by myself, share some of the question with him. So Mr. Adil, if you would like to address.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the questions. Let me go also through the question just to enrich the answers on the questions that were raised. So the first question was about the regional initiative. I think PRIDA 2 is going to focus, we mentioned, as mentioned by Walid, that IG is going to be one of the pillars of PRIDA 2. And of course, you know, PRIDA 2, IG is national, regional, continental. Okay, so they're going to be support for the regional initiatives. Martin, I think we've been working with the UK government and on CBMs and training for the REX. We started with ECOWAS and we did SADC, and hopefully next year we'll do Central Africa, East Africa, and North Africa, and we will do one for the continent so that we can go bottom up, and then we have Africa common position when it comes to CBMs and norms. A Malabo Convention, you are right. I think we have to devise, and I think this is also was announced by Walid in his initial remark that this is something that we are going to be working on the ratification and also model laws, so that the country can also ratify and accelerate the ratification. There is support from German government on that, and the World Bank, and we'll be working on that exclusively. For the question on PRIDA 2 and the lesson learned and the scope, is going to be AI is going to be featured in PRIDA 2, IG, okay, and DTS, the sectorial strategies. So that's going to be covered, and also data is going to be also featured. Lesson learned, so we had COVID, and then we had to work around COVID, this is something that also we need to focus on. Gender was missing in PRIDA 2, so this is lesson learned that we have also to have more focus on gender in PRIDA 2. But we are very excited about the initiative, so that this is also going to be have a reflection on also the IGF, the global IGF. We may have more African participating in the global IGF. I was told that I think we have 5 minutes if there is one intervention. I think the lady, yes, she wants to ask a question, and then I don't know if we are going to be cover more than one questions.
No, it's okay. Hi, my name is Winnie Kamal from the Association of Freelance Journalists, and my name is Winnie Kamal from the Association of Freelance Journalists. You can hear me now? Thank you. For me, I'm just wondering, where is the role of storytelling in telling the good work that is being done by the IGF sector? Especially in Africa, we're not telling our stories more. It's the first time I'm hearing about North Africa having, what they did. Would like to hear more stories from the North Africa team, what they're doing there, and also in AU and everything. So I don't know, what is the role of the media and in your storytelling? Thank you.
Initially, can you hear me? Yes. This is Aisha Juridi. I'm the Vice Chair of the North African IGF. I am from North Africa, and I just wanted to compliment what my colleague says, Ahmed, is that during the last North African IGF, we've launched a new initiative, especially for women, for capacity building for women in North Africa. So it's a series of webinars that we will conduct to address the needs of women in North Africa. This is being said, my question, to be short, and we can link after that to tell you more about North Africa. My question is to you, Dr. Walid or Dr. Adil. in your agenda, where's women? Do you intend, or do you have specific objectives, specific inclusion measures for women, or do you have specific projects targeting immediately women? So this is shortly what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I think, yeah, I will agree with my sister that storytelling is a very powerful tool. We are always using storytelling. We are always engaging with media. We share with them a media brief. We share with them what we are doing, what we are achieved, our success. But I think there is a room for improvement. I think we need also to kind of like understand. We have a team of communication experts. Maybe if they were here, they will tell more. But for us, we need also to kind of like do more about storytelling, do more about sharing our success, do more about sharing our experiences. So I do agree with you. Storytelling is a very powerful tool to show and to learn also from these stories, and to inspire people also to come work with us, because again and again and again we will keep mentioning that we cannot do it alone. We need all Africans to come work with us in different capacities to achieve these goals for Africa we want. So thank you so much for the question.
Yeah, let me take the women question. I think Breeder 2 is going to feature, I think we did a study on Breeder 1 and how to improve women involvement in ICT, and hopefully this is going to be reflected in Breeder 2. And as mentioned also in the opening statement by Walid, that women in cyber, this is something that we are going to also, is going to take off in 2025. So this is a couple of things that we can talk, we can make reference to. But I think we come to the end of this session. We thank you very much for being here and attending the session and actively participating. And we look forward to having you next year in Sweden. I think in Sweden in June. Norway 2026. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.